watered-down version of the law that was revoked by the High Court. The Ukrainian parliament this week marked the 100th anniversary of the infamous Beilis trial that exposed deeply rooted antisemitism in Kiev. Our reporter Ariel O'Sullivan was there and brings us the story.
It was known as the Dreyfus Trial of the East. Menachem Mendel Beilis was a Jewish businessman in Kiev and was tried for ritually murdering a Christian child. While eventually acquitted, his trial exposed deeply rooted anti-Semitism in the Tsarist regime. An international conference on anti-Semitism was held in Kiev at the initiative of Alexander Feldman, an openly Jewish member of the parliament who is seeking to get political leaders to fight anti-Semitism.
We would like to show that we are proud of our history, that this country is actually a civilized country which faces its history with pride and with responsibility.
Exactly 100 years ago, Mendel Beilis was brought to this Kiev court to face a blood libel trial. Today, his grandson, Jay Beilis, has returned to Kiev for the first time and talked about the impact it had on his family, the Jewish people, and history itself.
It's quite chilling and quite important also that the world sees this and the world remembers what happened here in this plaza 100 years ago. And the blood libel is one of the foundations of anti-Semitism, along with the protocols of Zion and the accusations that the Jews killed Christ. The blood libel represents an important part of Jewish history, and my grandfather's case was probably the most well-known since it began in the 12th century. It had a great impact on the Jewish people because many of them, in fact, people that just recently at the conference came up to me and told me that their ancestors and grandparents left Ukraine and Lithuania, Romania, and Hungary, and all these other countries in Europe after my grandfather's trial, saving them from the Shoah or Babi Yar as far as Ukraine goes. Yes, and it had quite a bit of an impact on the Jewish people at the time.
Decades after the Beilis trial, anti-Semitism reached its vicious depths when over 1.5 million Ukrainian Jews were murdered by the Nazis and their Ukrainian collaborators. Yar is the most famous of the killing fields, but thousands of others were swept under national awareness. One of Feldman's initiatives is to get these mass graves marked.
Thousands of mass graves still exist in Ukraine alone. Most of these places are untouched since the war. They need reconstruction, restoration, and putting in order. So the Soviet regime was not taking any care about these places. So we feel obligation and highest duty to put these places in order, to bring memories of this fallen back to life.
Today, the legacy of the Beilis trial is a reminder of the predicament facing Jews in the diaspora.
The Beilis trial, the 100 years anniversary of Beilis trial is very actual now because it can happen not only in Ukraine, in many countries. And we see now what's happened in the anti-Semitism in Europe and against Israel. Now it's the name anti-Israel, but it's the same anti-Semitism, the same Beilis process.
In Kiev, this is Ariel O'Sullivan for IBA News.